Wayne from CLC. Now, today I wanted to speak about something a bit more positive. Energy positive, that is. I know, an awful pun. But still, last year saw Britain's first energy positive house open up in July. This was built in Wales, and it was built by a group of designers from the Cardiff University. It was built within 16 weeks on an industrial estate outside of Bridgend in Wales, and costs just £120,000. Okay, what's so remarkable about it? Well, what it is they used all technology that is available now, off the shelf, top-end stuff, and they have made it so that the house produces more energy than what it would in a year. Okay, so obviously during the summer, its solar panels and things like that are going to be able to obtain more energy than in the winter, but it's going to be able to upload more energy back onto the national grid than what it would in than what it would use in the winter. And also in the winter it's still producing energy. But it will be able to feed some back off of the grid. So it uses technology to gain the energy, like the solar panels, wind turbines. Has batteries that's able to store energy in the house for immediate use, and then it's also able to upload using the feed-in tariffs. We won't go into that. I spoke about that yesterday. But by the calculations of what people are able to get on the old tariffs, for every £100 that would have been spent on electricity, the house would have actually generated £175 worth of electricity. So you would have been making money on the amount of electricity that property is actually producing. Obviously, we don't know what the current feed-in tariffs are, but at least you know that you'll be able to use all of your electricity, not have to pay anything, and it would still make a small amount on top, depending on what the feed-in tariffs are going to be. But still, we would rather them stay at a similar level. But what strikes me, what really gets me going is, excited, is that this has the potential to revolutionise everything. People think that energy needs to be produced by ginormous wind farms. And don't get me wrong, I love wind farms. I think they're beautiful. I think they're majestic. I don't understand why anyone would contest them, except for financial reasons, though we won't hit on that right now. But this gives people the opportunity to produce their own electricity locally, and if all houses had this capability, we would have no power shortages. People would be constantly producing their own power, and there would be no need. We'd be able to subdivide the national grid into local grids, and everybody would be perfectly fine because everybody would be getting the energy that they needed. But obviously that would mean retrofitting current properties. But imagine if this was done with social housing. You could make every single new social housing property with this technology, and the property would pay for itself. You would have no reason to actually charge your tenants for rent. You'd be able to lift so many people out of poverty if you was able to provide them with a property that was providing them with electricity, shelter, and also they didn't have to pay rent for it, because it would be paying for itself. It would still be making money for itself. And I know a lot of people are going to turn around and say, where the hell are you going to get this kind of money from? And my answer to that is, this week David Cameron announced that he was going to be commissioning 13,000 new homes. Okay, yes, that's great, 13,000 new homes. Still doesn't touch the number of homes that is actually needed, but it's only half of them are going to be affordable housing. And when they say affordable housing, did you know that the typical affordable housing rent in England is £218 a week for a 3-bed house? So you're going to be paying nearly £900 for rent of a 3-bed house per month, and that is considered affordable. I'm not being funny, but if you're in low-paid work and you've got a family to support, nearly £900 is not affordable. That is having your back up against the wall and taking everything before it's even gone to the shops to buy food for your family. But as well as commissioning these 13,000 new homes, David Cameron has promised £1.2 billion to help developers detoxify brownfield land so that it is suitable for private developers to build property. Okay, so you're spending £1.2 billion to detoxify land so that private developers can make profit from taxpayers' money. To build those 13,000 properties that you've promised, which only half of them are going to be affordable, if those 13,000 properties were social rented properties, to build them to the same quality as this energy efficient property that I just told you about, that would only cost 1.3 billion. Because the cost of building the energy positive house, which is a 3-bed, 100 metres square property, the cost of building that was £120,000. However, the developers also said if this was being built on a bigger scale, the cost of building would drop dramatically and well below £100,000. So if we said it did cost £100,000 to build a property like the energy positive house, then you would be able to build those 13,000 for 1.3 billion. And if you made all of those social housing, it would help so many people. We have such a dire need for social housing, but the Conservatives are so damn positive about striking out social housing. But also, when you build those as social housing, make it so that the right to buy no longer exists with those properties. Those properties are a public asset, and they will be there for future generations. And as the technology gets better and better and better as time goes on, and we're not talking a long period of time, we're only talking a matter of years, then the costs of building these houses would drop even further. But the thing is, obviously, you're not going to want to actually build properties that are able to produce their own energy, because number one, you would hit the energy firms. They would start suffering. Even though they don't pay the right taxes at the moment, they would still suffer. And we can't have those poor little sods worrying about where their next meal is going to come from, are we? But also, it would have a knock-on effect to the cost of private property. The price of private property would soon start plummeting, and you can't have that, can you? No, you can't have that. But the thing is, what's also interesting is this energy positive house was built using the standards that was set out by Gordon Brown in 2006 when he announced that all properties from 2016 needed to be carbon neutral houses. Which, to be honest, back then, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. When I heard that in 2006, I thought, that is so long away, but it's here. It is here. We are now in 2016, and according to Gordon Brown's plans, don't get me wrong, I disagree with a lot of what Gordon Brown done, but this plan to make all properties carbon neutral from this point on was a good idea. But last year, George Osborne canned the plans. They actually canned it 1 week before the energy positive house even opened. So, because what did he think? He thought, in his words, that it would put too many restrictions on the building firms. And you can't have too many restrictions on people that are building properties, can you? No. We don't want that. You don't want that at all. Because you don't want to take money away from the corporations that are lining your own pockets. Well, but imagine the possibilities if we could have social housing being at the forefront once again. And if you wanted to build more properties, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want to have a argument about war. But if you're spending £178 billion for this year alone to bomb Syria, I'm sure you can scrape some of that off of the barrel for social housing, especially making it energy positive social housing, because as far as I'm concerned, shelter, water, electricity and education should be a human right. Imagine the possibilities. If you want to check out anything that I've been talking about, I'll leave some articles in the links below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.